Hey friends, welcome to Tori Talks TV. On this episode, we will be revealing our 10 best TV shows we watched this decade. Over the whole decade.
Whole decade.
Yes. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to start with my number 10. Okay. It is Stranger Things. Yep. Okay, so this was a pleasant surprise for me because I didn't really have high hopes or I didn't really know much about it, but it was original and even very nostalgic because it takes place in the 80s, as everybody knows. It was like a love letter to all those 80s horror films, right? Even E.T. and the Goonies and really fun movies like that. It was cool because it was fun for everyone. Yes. Adults could like it, kids could like it. It's a little scary. It's funny.
Little kids watch it.
Really?
Like little kids.
Like little kids.
Really, like
but I'm not
elementary school kids.
I could see that though. It really is.
I would have been scared.
Yeah, I mean, I was scared.
Yeah. I was scared as an adult.
Yeah, right? But it was definitely a hit, in my opinion. Yeah. All right.
Good one.
Thank you. What's your number 10?
My number 10 is Orange is the New Black.
Yes.
Such a good show. But also historically significant because it was the very first Netflix original. And it kind of like marshaled the whole era of streaming services, creating original programming and driving revenue that way. Whoa. I mean, like, would we have had Stranger Things if not for Orange is the New Black? And it was also like giving you this glimpse of like a whole life that like I hope to never experience.
Right.
And I just thought it was super entertaining, super raunchy, and like, yeah, so good. Riveting TV.
Agree. Yes. Very, very good one. Yeah. All right, we're going to go on to number 9. My number 9 is The Good Place.
Oh.
2016, still going.
Oh, so, yeah. My number 9 is also The Good Place.
No, it's not.
I'm just going to interject since
then let's talk about this true gem of TV that we unexpectedly fell in love with.
Yes.
Did we not? It was recommended to me by one of our subscribers, and I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I didn't even know what The Good Place meant. No. But upon further inspection, I found out. And I loved it. And then I told you.
Yes. What was your first worth a watch?
I
believe. And then I was like, okay, you say it's worth a watch. I will watch it. What I love about it's just like a little like weekly nugget of like philosophy.
Yes.
And
it's
like
true.
Just like to kind of guide your like how you live your life. Like you learn things and like whether you're religious or not, you kind of like can kind of ponder why you believe what you believe.
Totally.
And laugh your butt off.
And it's so charming. The cast is diverse, which is you don't see.
I want to see them more and more like in future shows. Like every single one of them is just amazing.
They're great in their own way. Kristen Bell, I love everything. She can do no wrong. Ted Danson, hello. Manny Jacinto, wow. I was immediately hooked even just by like the bright burst of colors.
Yes.
Like the neighborhood.
The Good Place.
The Good Place.
Her house, the first house that Eleanor lived in The Good Place.
Oh,
was so kooky.
With the clowns.
Yes, the clowns.
Yeah.
I know. And Jamila Jamil is like one of my favorite people in the entire world now.
Just beautiful in and out.
I did not know anything about her before, and now I think she's like the most awesome person.
Yeah.
Awesome person.
I agree. Yeah. It just shows that like, you know, everybody kind of falls somewhere in the middle. No one's ever like all good or all bad, but we're all just trying our best. Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. That's a good one. Yes. Number 9. All right. Well, let's go to number 8 then. Okay. So my number 8 is The Big Bang Theory. Ran from 2007 to 2019. Some of the most intellectually stimulating humor I've ever seen. I learned a lot. I love science and I love the dynamic. So if you haven't seen it, I'm sure you have, but there's these, I'll just say nerds. They're self-proclaimed nerds. Yeah, I can say that. Okay. And there's this beautiful blonde actress that lives across the hall, and they become friends and lovers, and the relationships they have is just so sweet. Same creator of Roseanne, which is one of my favorite comedies of all time. But yeah, it's just, I mean, it's some of the most beloved TV characters for me, I think.
It's been on my list of something I should have watched and will watch.
Oh my gosh, you have to. I love them, and I love the just the quick, it's witty, it's clever, it's just, the list goes on and on. I mean, honestly, I want to be honest with you up front. I first started watching it when it premiered, and I didn't care for it. Oh. And then I just was like, fine, I have nothing else to watch, and I started watching it. And for some reason, it just turned. I was like, I get it. This is so cute. And Sheldon, the character, he is so smart and inappropriate, but lovable.
Yes.
And yeah, oh man, it was so sad when it went off air, but.
You know, I always say that when I go to my good place, I'll just get to watch all the TV that I never got to watch.
There you go.
Of course, also spend time with my family.
Oh, of course. Duh.
But The Big Bang Theory would be on that list.
Yay! Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay. What is your number 8?
So my number 8 is Stranger Things.
Yay!
Which I love because of the 80s references. As a Gen Xer, it like speaks to my heart.
Totally.
But I also love that it's just solid. The writing is good. The kids are great actors. Winona Ryder's in it.
Oh, yeah?
And you're like riveted. Like I just binged it. The whole, you just need to see like what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's good. It's suspenseful.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And it's just like every moment is authentic. Like every single like costume, every sound, all the music, all the dialogue, all the hairstyles is like spot on.
So
like
much
if
fun.
you're a person who lived during the 80s, you're like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I get it. All right. Well, I obviously agree.
Yes.
It's one of the best of the decade. All right. So number 7. My number 7 is Fleabag.
Oh.
Yeah. So it ran from 2016 to 2019. Only 2 seasons, but 2 amazing seasons.
Yes.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge is ridiculous. Her writing, her comedy, her delivery, everything is entertaining about it. And there's even moments of just raw emotion where you kind of feel for her, because I was like, you're a hot mess and I like you for it.
Yes.
But there are some times where you really felt bad for her, because I almost thought she was kind of like self-sabotaging or self-destructing. I don't know what it was, but then you get to see why, and it's just like, it's very human.
Yes.
Her mistakes or her path or the decisions she makes, and I love her. I honestly,
I agree.
Where did she come from?
Seriously,
where's she been all my
you know
life?
what's interesting to me is that Killing Eve got so much like press in its first season,
Yeah.
and all these awards, and she wrote it and created it.
That's right.
And so I'm so glad that like, you know, following the second season of Killing Eve came out, and then we really got exposure to Phoebe Waller-Bridge with the second season of Fleabag.
I can't wait to see more
Like,
from her.
where was she?
Oh my gosh.
Why didn't we know about her?
Why
with
are you
Killing
hiding?
Eve, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm so glad. I love her. I agree. Good job.
Oh, yeah, thank you. All right, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is The Americans.
Yes.
So kind of like, again, the
So
flip
good.
side of the Stranger Things and the 80s. So growing up in the 80s, there were these people, we call them the Russians.
Yes.
And they were bad.
Oh, no.
And then I watched The Americans, and these were people.
They're real people?
They're people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And although they were doing things against my government, these are people, and I was invested in their stories.
Yeah. It was
Like,
so good.
Possibly some of the best drama I've ever seen, ever.
I totally agree.
And those actors, oh my god, they're sexy. And like, and then all their disguises, it was very like cool too. Like,
but they still looked hot in them?
Yeah, they were hot and cool. And then even when they were nerdy,
Yeah.
like 80s big glasses.
Right.
Damn.
I know. They made it look good.
So good.
Yeah.
I love that show.
That's such a good show. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to number 6, though, okay? All right. My number 6 is The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It started in 2017. I have to give props to this show. All that fast-paced dialogue is so witty and charming, and I just feel like the creator, Amy Sherman-Palladino, puts her actors and crew through a lot, because those sets are amazingly colorful, the costumes. I've seen interviews where the actors said, yeah, we've done a scene, and she'd be like, nope, do it again faster. I mean, she demands that of them. So I commend them. That must be really hard to do, but it's also just a very well balanced comedy and drama. I've said this before, it reminds me of like a Broadway play, just how fast moving everything is, and it feels like they're changing sets right behind you, and you know, every look and line is just executed with so much precision and grace.
Yes.
And anyway, I have to commend. I mean, it's funny, it's entertaining too,
so
but I just can't believe all the work that must go into this.
Good. It's like everything about it is charming.
It's charming.
It's so charming.
Yes.
The characters are all charming from like every single person. There's no throwaway character.
Right.
Even like I was thinking about Susie's the guy who sublets her apartment.
Jackie?
Yeah, so we just see him like now and then, and like not a moment is wasted in that show.
Right.
Everything is like
very well said.
Good.
Yep.
Like parents, the parents are my favorite.
Oh my gosh, they're just hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So what is your number 6?
My number 6 is Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown.
Oh.
So I had to include this, and the reason is on my DVR would always be like all the episodes, and then this would be the show that I would watch when I like come home or just want to watch something, because you get to go somewhere and like meet the locals through his eyes, and like he's such a great like kind of person to introduce you to like another culture through their cuisine.
Storyteller.
And everybody, like, you know, when he sadly committed suicide, so many people were touched by that. Like, I can't tell you how many people like shared their stories with me. Like, people who I didn't even know knew who he was, like my mom.
No way.
Yeah, so
wow.
I just had to include this because I enjoy watching his show, and just he's such an important figure, and like, I don't know, I just always like, not a single episode did I not go like, oh, I would like to go there.
Oh,
Anthony Bourdain.
That's a very nice tribute to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aw. All right, we're getting down to our top 5 here, everybody. So hang on to your seat. Okay, my number 5 is called Sons of Anarchy.
Oh!
It ran from 2008 to 2014. So I never in my wildest dreams thought I would fall in love with bikers, but I did. Okay, so this is one of the best ensembles I've ever seen in a series. And although it contains a lot of violence and sex and crude language, it actually all fits in with the story.
Yes.
And it just makes them so interesting. I don't know what it is. Again, I wasn't offended by it. It was just, that's just how they live their life.
Yes.
And the family dynamics, the love that they have for their club, the motorcycle club, everything, well, because it's really based off of, you know, a real motorcycle club. So it's like you get to, I didn't know that. I thought they were all bad guys. And it's interesting because you can't even really classify them as a good guy or a bad guy. Right? I mean,
they're making the best of a situation that they were born into.
Yeah, exactly.
I watched the show based on your recommendation. It was actually my number 11.
Oh.
It was hard for me to not put that in the list, but it just happened. But so I'm glad you included it.
Thank you.
And for me, it was all about the family.
Isn't it amazing? Like, no matter what you're going through, your lifestyle, you know, brings you back to family.
Yes, exactly. Like, it's a culture which I know very little about, and the violence and everything, like, was something I was like, I would never think that I would understand. But because they embed it in the family dynamics of, like, actual biological families and the motorcycle family, I bought it.
Oh, totally.
I was like,
into it.
Yeah, I understand why you did that.
And most importantly, though, Charlie Hunnam. Wow.
Yeah.
Is he beautiful?
He's quite
and sexy.
Beautiful.
And I didn't even know anything about him. I didn't know that he was British because he has his accent was so good, right?
Yep.
Katie Sagal.
She was so good.
Oh, she scared me.
Yeah.
But in the best way possible.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway.
Gemma.
Oh, sweet Gemma. Not really.
Not really.
Oh my gosh, we could go on and on about this. But all right, let's go on to your number 5, though.
Okay, my number 5 is Fresh Off the Boat.
Oh my gosh.
I had to include this show because I love it so much. Like, not just because it makes me laugh out loud, like, seriously laugh out loud, but it speaks to me as, like, a child of immigrants, Asian immigrants. And so the stories, like, the anecdotes of, like, growing up in America, like, they just, like, so many things spoke to me. And, like, the most, like, example that I can think of is, like, the mom never using the dishwasher as anything but to, like, store dishes in.
No way.
Yeah, seriously.
That's so funny.
I don't think, like, white Americans understand that that's, like, a totally Asian thing.
I did not
Take
know
a survey,
that.
I bet you. So anyways, it's so good. The cast is great. And it's just so great to, like, grow up with, like, this is, like, the TGIF of, like, this decade.
Oh,
because when I was little, it was like Family Matters, but this was from 2005 to this is currently its last season, so 6 seasons altogether.
Wow.
Yeah, so Fresh Off the Boat.
Yeah, you talk a lot about it.
I love it so much.
Know. I can tell. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, we're gonna go on to number 4. My number 4 is a little show called This Is Us. Have you heard of it?
I have.
It started in 2016. This series has already given us some of the most talked about moments of TV, like, you know, Jack's death.
The crock pot. Sorry.
That crock pot ruined my life.
Don't take used crock pots with people.
Seriously, yeah. So on top of amazing storylines, the characters are just simply the best because, you know, they're relatable.
Yes.
Who doesn't like relatable?
I literally cry 3 times an episode.
Oh, I know. Well, it seems like such a simple concept, just like this family, like this is us, this is our family, but it goes deeper than that with like the problems that they have in the family, and you never really, it's almost like problems that you never really talk about. I don't know, maybe you talk about with your family, but I think it's things that are really, really hidden deep down, and and they bring it all to the surface, and it is gut-wrenching. Yeah, it exposes a lot of different layers of family dynamics. Oh my gosh, and the acting, what the heck? So and you guys introduced me to Sterling K. Brown.
Who are these people?
What? I honestly didn't know who he was. Isn't that terrible?
Same.
Shame on me. Really? Oh my gosh, yeah. But the writing is excellent. It's also well done, and this season in particular has just thrown me off. And I like that. I like when that happens. That's why it's one of my best. Okay, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is The Handmaid's Tale.
Yes.
Okay.
Would have been my 11.
Okay, so this was recommended to me, and I was like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. I read the book. I'm over it. Really? But then I finally sat down and watched it, and I was like, oh my god, this is so good.
It was scary.
It's so scary because it's like alternate reality, like, but we're close.
Oh.
Yeah, like this could be.
That cuts
deep.
This
is really close to like what could happen tomorrow. So yeah, and the acting is really good. And I mean, this is one of those things where like week by week you would say like, oh my god, did you see The Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot with like the era of like streaming services and like whole seasons being released at once. I like how Hulu releases it 1 week at a time, and you're like texting your friends and talking to your coworkers about it the next day.
We talked about it. Did you see that episode? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, so it was huge. Yeah, it's a huge hit, and the acting, like you were saying, and you know,
minus the twitchy.
Oh, if you've seen my reviews of The Handmaid's Tale, because we do them, you'll know what she's talking about. Yeah, Elizabeth Moss, I love you. You are an amazing actress. You deserve every award you get, but cut out the twitching a little bit. Bring it back. Dial it down. But it is very good, and I totally see why it made your list. Yes. All right, top 3. Are you ready? My number 3 is Game of Thrones, 2011 to 2019. Okay. Although the last season, especially the last episode, was met with a lot of controversy, when it was at its peak, there was nothing else like it. Yes. Would you agree?
I agree.
Gosh, it seems like it was like 20 years ago that this started, but it's because there's just been so much that happened, because it's a very complex series. The acting is impeccable. The scenery is gorgeous. The costumes, it's just, there's so many characters to keep track of, which could be really daunting, but I didn't mind it. I was like, it kind of made for something new every time we watched it. And honestly, like every episode was like a movie. And I haven't seen something like that since probably like Lost. I know that a lot of people were upset with it with the last season, especially the last episode, but that's not going to ruin it for me. No. It was, you just have to appreciate
the standards were high, and that's why we could be so hard on the last season.
Yes, exactly. And honestly, I think it's historic.
Yes.
The way it was made and this, the way it told stories. Agree. Yeah, good or bad, it was historic. Yes. All right, so let's go to your number 3.
My number 3 was already on your list. This Is Us.
Yay!
I think, again, similar to Handmaid's Tale, this is one of those shows where, like, the next day, you're, like, talking about it with people. Like, what did you think? Did you see that episode? People are like, don't say anything. I haven't caught up yet.
Yes.
Like, it's something that, like, you want to talk about with.
Yeah.
And so, but, like, it literally makes me cry.
Yeah.
If anything can make me cry 3 times a week, I think that's good TV.
I think so, too.
I'm not that soft. But the story, like, the characters are just so real. Like, they're so moving and they're relatable. And even if you can't, like, relate to, like, the situation, they just bring you in.
Yeah.
Like, Randall having anxiety.
They suck you in, yeah.
And, like, just, like, how he came into their family, like, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It's
never
like,
seen anything like that before,
three,
too.
Like, the whole thing is just so good. And the way they tell the story, interweaving, like, past, present, and future. Yeah. And, like, making people look younger and older. It's just, like, blows my mind.
Because they even really
make children, like, with the young Beth with the birthmark in her eye.
That's crazy.
So good.
So thorough.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's super good. And like you said, the actors, like, I don't know where these people came from. Of course, like, Mandy Moore and Milo Ventimiglia, we knew who they were. But everyone else, I'm like, wow. And also, thank you for bringing Felicia Rashad back into my life.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, she's tough. All right, let's move on.
Okay.
My number 2 is The Americans.
Ooh.
You talked about it, but this ran from 2013 to 2018. Yes. I was surprised that I put it so high up on my list, but let's just talk about this. Do you guys realize that these 2 main actors, Kerry Russell and Matthew Rhys, had to change their characters, had to be multiple people in every single episode? Their disguise, the way they talked, the way they acted. I mean, if you really think about it, it's brilliant.
It is.
And it was solid, and the writing was so good. It was, like, intertwined with history, which I didn't even know about. I was like, there were Russian spies living amongst people in the 80s? Like, here, I mean, naive, hello. I had no idea. But also, what's really refreshing about it is, it went out on a high note. Their season finale was really good, which hasn't been the trend lately.
It's not
and
common.
even in the past. Yeah, exactly. It was just, I am so impressed with something like that, a story about Russian spies being so interesting to me.
Agreed.
And entertaining? Like, why would that be entertaining? Yeah. Why would you think that? But, gosh, it was so dark in a way. But, I mean, there were little parts of, like you know, comedy in there, like, every once in a while. But I can't get over how masterfully done it was. Really just almost perfection. Yes. Very, very close.
Yes.
It's number 2, so.
And your number 1 fantasy TV boyfriend.
Sure is. Isn't that weird? You remembered!
I did.
All right. Okay. Well, your number 2?
My number 2 is Game of Thrones.
Yay!
So I have to say, when I was recommended this, I was like, yeah, no. No thanks.
Same.
Not my genre, not at all, not my cup of tea. But somehow I got sucked into, one, like, the melodrama, like the connections between all the people, the families. And it was hard for my brain to follow the connections between the people.
Yeah.
We did rewatch every single episode leading up to the final season.
And reviewed them.
And when I reviewed them, and all the playlists are at Tori Talks TV.
Yeah.
I definitely was like, oh, so you should definitely either watch it again or watch all those reviews, because it really connects all the people better for me. And then I was really invested and ready for that final season. So, but yeah, I mean, and it also, like, made me question my moral compass, because there were things, okay, I just have to say, like, the whole Cersei and Jaime incesting, of course, we're like, that's terrible, but by the end, I was like, oh.
They really love each other.
Love each other.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just let them go love each other.
What about Jon Snow and Dany?
Yes. Yeah. See, all these things are like, oh,
what is wrong with us?
I know. It was very, I was in it. And then the dragons, I didn't know that I liked dragons so much, but dragons were like one of the highlights of the whole series for me.
They look awfully cute and cuddly when they're little.
Definitely. And all the strong female characters, though, is really what sealed the deal for me, because throughout the thing, we were, like, rooting for Dany. And then there's Sansa and Arya, and minus Melisandre.
Oh, God.
Almost every, and Lysa. Almost every character. I mean, they can't be perfect.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Lots of strong women that I was, like, rooting for. Mostly the women.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, huh?
The women. Because most of the men were just okay. They were there.
They were just all right.
They served their purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can't talk about great television without talking about Game of Thrones.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
If you do, then you didn't watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
And there are a few
you
people
obviously
out there
don't know.
Who didn't.
Yeah, and that's fine if you didn't. I'm just saying, if you've watched it and you can't include it in, like, one of your best TV shows of the decade.
You're just stubborn.
Yeah, get over it. Okay, sorry. All right, we're going to reveal what we think is the best TV show that we've watched.
Already?
Yes, of the decade. Are you ready to reveal? Because I'm ready.
I am.
This is my number 1. It is Breaking Bad.
That's my number 1.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding.
Okay, are you ready? Let's talk about this. Okay, so it ran from 2008 to 2013. This is another surprise love of mine.
Yes.
Somebody said, I remember, they were like, you should really watch Breaking Bad. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, what's it about? They're like, oh, it's about meth and math. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, not 2 things I'm very much interested in.
No.
Oh my gosh, I sat down, I watched it. It's so much more than that.
From the first episode. I don't know.
Kidding me?
I don't remember what made me watch it, but I was like, I've heard people talk about it. I'm just going to watch it. And then I was like, oh, I didn't know what that that's what this was about.
Yeah.
And then I was in.
Well, it's an original storyline,
Totally.
right? So you watch Bryan Cranston brilliantly develop his character as being, you know, Walter White, the chemistry teacher, to the drug kingpin Heisenberg.
Drug lord.
Drug lord, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's just amazing him, right? No, there's more than that. His supporting cast of characters.
Yes.
His wife, Skylar. His son, Walt Jr., his, I don't know, student/partner, Jesse. I was emotionally invested in all of these characters.
Yes.
And it was kind of like it blew me away. Like, I was like, I would watch it and I'm like, is this real?
Like, how are we rooting for this meth dealer? It's because of the family.
Yeah.
It's all because he's doing all of these things for kind of like Sons of Anarchy. Like, we're okay with like all the crime and the
Isn't that weird?
the crime and violence and drug dealing because he's doing it for his family.
I know. The root of it is that he wants to leave behind, you know, something for his family.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, it was just shots. It was so well done.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was accompanied by very, very tense scenes.
Yes.
But also like amazing heart-wrenching dialogue and twists and cliffhangers. It just was full of everything that you would want from a TV show.
And I, like, not only is this the best of the decade, but I actually think it might be the best TV show I've ever seen.
I'm gonna agree with that. Probably the best drama I've seen.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, yeah, number one drama I've ever seen. Yeah. You know why, guys? Because this show is perfect.
It really is.
I'm saying it's perfect.
I can't think of a negative thing.
I cannot.
Nope, can't.
What more can we say? I have nothing bad to say about it.
No, I can't think of anything.
Yeah. Isn't it surprising that, like, this show...
Usually we've got something.
I know, right? But no, honestly, it was flawless.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that was so much fun.
It was so fun.
That's cool. All right. That is it. Hey, comment and let us know what you would choose, what would be on your list. And while you're at it, like and subscribe. That'd be great. But yeah, thanks so much, everybody. Happy New Year and happy TV watching. See you next year.